Hello everyone, I am Muhammad Kamran Halil from your favorite YouTube channel, The Twins Academy. So now today I will discuss the topic related with the A-levels physics 9702, and the topic is from A2 physics, and the name of the topic is circular motion. It is unit number 12. So first of all, the definition will be asked in the paper that define the radian and express angular displacement in the radian. So look that what is the definition of the radian? That let's suppose if I will start from point A and this is the radius which is equal to 4 centimeter. Then I will cover the arc length which is also equal to radius that is equal to 4 centimeter. Then the angle between A and B will be called as the radian. So you have to write down the complete definition that the radian is the angle subtended at the center of the circle by the arc whose length is equal to the radius of the circle. So the first formula is S equal to R theta. Make theta as the subject, that is equal to S over R. Then the units, the angle will be taken in the radian, arc length centimeter, the radius is in the centimeter. Now for one complete revolution 360 degree, it is equal to 2 pi radian, and then for 180 degree it will equal to pi radian and so on. So 1 radian is equal to 57.3 degree. After that, the past paper question is related with the radian. That question may contain 1 or maximum 2 marks. So the same definition which I have explained to you, that the angle subtended at the center of the circle by arc which is equal to the length of the radius. So if you write down the complete definition, then you will get 2 out of 2. After that, we will move towards that understand and use the concept of angular speed. Now look, angular speed is the rate of change of angle. Angular velocity is the rate of change of angular displacement, because delta theta is the change of the displacement with respect to the angle, that will be called as the angular displacement. So now we will talk about the angular speed, that what is meant by the angular speed about point P of the mass, because this mass is attached with a string. So source will be mentioned in the answer, and then after that the angle swept out per unit time by the string or rate of change of angle by the string. So you may write down any one of the lines from the above and then add the second key point in order to get 2 out of 2. Now omega is equal to 2 pi over capital T. The 2 pi is the 360 degree. So instead of 360 degree for one complete rotation, we will use 2 pi. And the time period is the time required to complete one rotation. Then another equation you have to remember is V equal to R omega. I will discuss this equation when we will proceed to the other topic. So what is meant by angular velocity? That it is the rate of change of angular displacement swept out by the radius. So why we have used the term displacement? Due to the involvement of the angle. After that, the general definition, omega, that is equal to delta theta over delta t. So this is the first formula, omega equal to 2 pi over t. This is the second formula, omega equal to 2 pi f. This is the third formula for the angular velocity. Now V equal to R omega, this is the relationship between the angular speed and angular velocity. So this question contains 1 mark. After that, another formula for the omega is omega, that is equal to V over R. Now for the angular velocity, omega will be represented by that particular term, and angular speed will be represented by V, and circumference is 2 pi r over capital T. So speed, that is equal to 2 pi r over capital T, will be angular speed. After that, we will move towards the centripetal acceleration. Now centripetal acceleration is related for that. To create the centripetal acceleration, we must need a force of constant magnitude, which is a centripetal force number 1. This force is always perpendicular to the direction of motion or direction of velocity. You may write any one of these two things. So when a body moves in a circle, its velocity constantly change. So due to change in direction, the velocity will change. When the velocity will change, it means that there is unbalanced force or the resultant force, which is called as the centripetal force. This force has a constant magnitude. It always directed towards the center and it is perpendicular to the direction of velocity. And the source of the centripetal force will vary from example to example. Now F is equal to ma is the basic equation from the Newton's second law of motion. F that is equal to mv square over r, basic equation for the centripetal forces, and then F equal to mrω². By reference to the forces, explain why the orbit of the satellite is a circular. Reason: gravitational force will act perpendicular to the direction of motion or velocity. Gravitational force will provide the centripetal acceleration. This force has a constant magnitude. So you may write down any 2 key points for 2 marks and then 3 key points for 3 marks. I have already explained this the other video as well. So in the gravitational field and in the circular motion, they both have same answer related with the circular motion. So centripetal acceleration is the acceleration when a body will move in a circular path directed towards the center of the circle, perpendicular to the direction of the velocity. So force and acceleration both are perpendicular to the direction of velocity and it is perpendicular to them. So after that, if they will ask label the direction of the force, so it will be like this, direction of the force like this, direction of the force like this, acceleration will be this, acceleration will be this, velocity is at the tangent or at the angle of the 90 degree to the direction of the force. Now we will discuss the two different things, the horizontal circular motion when a car is turning around the corner, when a stone is tied with the string and it is moving in a horizontal circle like this. After that, athlete is running in the circular track. So that is the example. So if there is any roundabout in your area and the car is turning around that corner, that is the best example of the horizontal circle. So for that, what is required? The sources are different for this. For example, a student is revolving a stone with the help of the string. So force of tension will provide the centripetal force. Then if we will talk about the planets, then the force of gravity will be the source of the centripetal force. If you will talk about a car is turning around the corner, then force of friction between road and tires. Athlete is running around the circular track, force of friction between shoe and ground. So it means that there will be certainly a source for the centripetal force. Now when this car will tilt around inclined plane, then what will happen? Weight will act in the downward direction and then like this. For example, if this is a car, then weight will act in the downward direction and normal reaction will act perpendicular to the surface. If this is angle theta, then I will extend this in downward direction. I will extend this in upward direction. Then this will be theta. This will also theta. And then I will resolve this n into two rectangular parts. So this one will be the n sine theta and this vertical line will be n cos theta. So n cos theta will balance by mg and n sine theta, because it is acting towards the center, so it will be source of the centripetal force. So you must know how to resolve the vectors, because without resolution of the vectors, you are not able to solve the questions. So horizontal component will provide the centripetal force, vertical component will balance by the weight, which will act in the downward direction. Similarly, another diagram for the lifting of a plane is turning around the corner. So same thing we will do, we will divide it. If this angle is theta, this angle is also theta, and then we will resolve this. So centripetal force again will act in this direction, and this component opposite to the direction will be sine component, and along with the adjacent line this, it will be the cos component. So cos component again will balance by the weight and sine component will provide the centripetal force. So vertical component Lg cos theta, horizontal component, L sin theta equal to centripetal force. After that, now a pendulum, conical pendulum. So it is not oscillating like this. So it is revolving like this in this way. So again, the weight will act in the downward direction. Then what we will do, we will extend this in this way. After that, this angle is theta. Then we will increase this in the upward direction. This angle is also theta. And we will resolve this component, the tension into its component. You may resolve this like in this way. You can resolve it in this in order to mention the forces. So this is directed towards the left side. It is the opposite to the angle will be the sine component, and along the angle it will be its cos component. So again the same thing, that the cos component will be equal to the weight of the object, and sine component will provide the source of the centripetal force, which is the force of tension in this part of the topic. And then after that, vertical circle, simple concept, that a roller coaster and a stone tie up a string and being whirled around the vertically like this. So these are the example of the vertical circle, and these are the example of the horizontal circle. Now there are different things related with the vertical circle. Now there are different points on this diagram. So what we will do, just a minute. Okay, fine. At this point A, at this point B, at this point C, at this point D. Now if we will talk about B and D, the weight will act in the downward direction and the centripetal force will act towards the center. So no need to add or subtract any other forces, because the weight and force of tension are acting perpendicularly, and the centripetal force will be equal to force of tension, which is equal to mv² over r. But now at this point weight is acting in downward direction and force of tension is acting in upward direction. The magnitude of the force of tension should be greater in order to hold the concept of the centripetal force, and these two forces are acting in opposite direction. So centripetal force will be calculated T minus W like this, and W is equal to mg. Now at this point weight is acting in the downward direction, and already the force of tension was acting in downward direction. Now they are acting in the same direction. So what will happen? The centripetal force will equal to the T plus mg. So I hope that this will make your concept really very clear. So if you want to calculate the velocity, what you will do? Weight is equal to mv² over r. Cancel out this, make v² as subject, g into r, and then v that is equal to under root gr. Another thing related with this, that if you will move from point A to point B like this, what will happen to the centripetal acceleration? Centripetal acceleration decreases when you will move from point A to point B, and centripetal acceleration increases when you will move from point B to A. So after that, energy, okay, that is really very important concept. The total energy at the bottom is equal to total kinetic energy at the top plus 2 mgh. Why it will be twice? The reason, at this point the object is moving, so kinetic energy at the bottom is equal to half mv². Now when it will start moving in upper direction, it is rotating and gaining height, and then at the top point it has kinetic energy and it has gpe. Now this is the radius 1, it is r, this is the radius 2. Now what is the total height traveled by object from bottom to top, which is equal to the 2r. So this is the reason that instead of only writing mgr or mgh, you will write down the twice of the radius, because top to bottom will be the double. So this is the expression which you may drive, and they can ask in the paper that show that the total kinetic energy at the bottom is equal to this. So this is all the stuff related with the circular motion, and I hope that you have enjoyed this topic, and kindly comment on this topic. So these are all the formula you may write down on a piece of paper, and you have to remember this formula. So kindly comment on my channel, subscribe my channel, and share it with the other friends. And do not forget to press the bell icon in order to get more videos on A levels physics. Take care. Bye bye. Stay tuned.